Every photographer wants retainer clients, but the harsh reality is that most struggle to keep clients beyond a single project. After working with hundreds of photographers, I've noticed a pattern. It's rarely the quality of their photos that drives clients away. In fact, most photographers are losing out on retainers due to a broken system that has nothing to do with their creative skills. Today, I'm breaking down the real reasons clients ghost you after one project, and the exact framework I use to turn one-time clients into long-term partnerships in my own company, Pieta Productions. I went full-time with photography back in 2020, and I remember in 2021, I was using my cold email and sales system to land brands as clients pretty easily. Now, yes, I was sending hundreds of emails each week, but the system worked really well and still does to this day. Now, if you struggle to land clients, join my free community link below. We've got free courses that teach you the exact system I use to land clients on repeat. We just hit 500 community members, and I'd love to invite you to join the free group as well. Now, yes, I was landing clients easily, but I was struggling to keep clients for more than a single project, and I had no idea why. I was shooting really great photos, I thought I was doing the right things, but clients weren't sticking around for long, so I blamed myself, and rightfully so. I never blame the economy or the saturated market. I always take full responsibility so I can fix it, and fix it I did. The first realization was my inconsistent customer experience. I thought I had a good customer experience until I pretended I was a customer in my own business. And that's when I saw how truly bad it was. Clients would wait a day or more between email communication. There was no clear process. If I was a day late with photos, I didn't let them know. It was a mess. So I fixed it. Back in my corporate days, we had a department at the company called Customer Experience. And I thought that if a big corporation had a whole department devoted to the customer experience, it must be really important. The first way I was really trying to improve my customer experience was to make sure that I communicate quickly with clients and clearly. And here's what this looks like. Whenever I would get a client email in my inbox, when I opened it, I would either respond right away or archive it. I wouldn't wait to respond because thinking back, there's no good reason to wait. Why wait? To make the client seem like I was busy with other things, to make the client feel like they weren't important. There was no good reason to wait. I either respond right away or archive it. I stopped being lazy about my responses. I also got really clear in my emails. I stopped writing super long paragraphs and started getting to the point and really communicating clearly rather than writing these super long essays to clients that no one had time to read. My clients are business owners, and business owners are busy. They just want to see what the message is, right? They don't want to read a whole story before getting to the point. I just got to the point and made my emails that much clearer. Then came the entire process that clients go through. I realized that my customer experience was bad because there wasn't a very great process clients would go through. I would sign them on with a proposal, but then from there wasn't a clear onboarding process, prep process, production pipeline, none of that. So I created a very clear process for clients to follow. As soon as they signed a proposal with me, they got onboarded right away. I would send a welcome email with a link to the onboarding form, and the onboarding form was pretty much the same for every single client. I would ask them questions relevant to the project, what brands they want to emulate, what kinds of photos they need, what aspect ratios, all these things that I would need for a successful project was in the onboarding form. I no longer sent emails back and forth trying to hunt down all the details of every project. I just had one clear onboarding form, and I actually made this clear to the clients that it's to their benefit to fill out this form rather than to email back and forth, because all they would have to do is fill out one single form, and from there I would take over the rest of the process. So once they filled out that form, the next step for me in the process was to create the mood board and send it over. So inside the mood board, I would take their answers in the form, create a aesthetically pleasing mood board for them with photos from my portfolio, photos from brands that they wanted to emulate, and I would include a shot list there and any questions I had for the client that I still needed clarity on from their onboarding form. From that mood board, we moved on to the prep call. So far we've had the onboarding process, right? The onboarding form, we've had the mood board that was sent to them, and then the prep call. Now on this call, this is really straightforward. We pretty much just go over the mood board. I walk through the shot list and I ask any questions I still need clarity on, and they can ask me any questions they have around my process here. Now, all of this happens after the sales process. So selling and customer experience are completely different things. So Once you actually close the deal, that's when this entire process starts. So after the prep call, what do we do? After the prep call, well, the client doesn't have to really do anything here. So that's when production starts. So I do the actual photo and video work for them, send over the first proofs. They approve whatever they want. Maybe there's some revisions here, and then I send final edits their way. So this is a very clear, streamlined process. And that was a great way to improve my customer experience here with clients. Now, the next thing I did was actually build out a client portal. So I realized that there was all this communication going back and forth with clients, and we had this onboarding form, we had the mood board, we had contracts, all these different things, and these were just floating around in our inboxes. It wasn't really organized. Plus, they had no real way to track projects. So what I did is I created this page in Notion, this database that clients can access and I can access, that organizes all the project details, everything from the initial proposal they signed to any ideas I have for them, their deposit, their contract, the mood board, the final deliverables, the first proofs. Favorite part of this is actually the project tracking step. So when they open this database, they see exactly where the project is, whether we're pending products, whether we're pending a deposit, whether I'm shooting the stuff, whether the photos are with my editor, wherever the project is, they can see that at a glance using this dashboard. So this is actually something all of my Creative Biz Launch students get free access to in my program. But this has been a game changer for me. So if you're not using some sort of client dashboard like this, definitely build one out for yourself, because it's going to make your customer experience that much better. So that's the customer experience. Now, part 2 of this journey is actually minimizing the time delay. Now, let me explain what this means. So the time delay is pretty much the time it takes for the client to hear back from you after they send you an email. It's the time that it takes for a client to get their photos back from you once they sign on to work with you, right? Anytime the client is waiting on you, you want to minimize this time as much as possible. And we already touched on this in responding to emails quickly, but you want this to be all across the board in your fulfillment pipeline. Whenever you're dealing with a client, you want to deal with a sense of urgency. Urgency is going to be your best friend here. Work as fast as possible. Obviously, don't burn yourself out, but you want to be quick with your responses to client. You want to deliver photos quickly. You want to deliver the mood board quickly. Anytime the client is waiting on you for something, you want to act with a sense of urgency. Now, this shows them that you actually care about this client. It shows them that you're a real business owner, because business owners act with a sense of urgency, right? And this actually starts before they become a client of yours. So when you do your first outreach attempt, or when they're an inbound lead inside of your business, you want to respond to them as quickly as possible. This is really important because this sets the tone for your entire client relationship. So when you're scheduling that first discovery call, you want to do that as quickly as possible. After the discovery call, when you're sending the proposal, you want to send that proposal on the same day. Don't wait 2 days or 3 days. Send it the same day, because you want to show them that you're taking this job seriously. You're acting with a sense of urgency, and that's how you can win the client over and also win multiple projects over with this client over time. Now, I touched on long turnaround times already, but you want to shorten your turnaround times as much as possible. Obviously, you can't really do these in like a day, but you can do these within a few days, right? If you can shrink your turnaround times to be just a few days here, that's going to help immensely with all of your potential client work. Now, number 3 is going to be a subtle one, but I see so many creatives messing this one up, and this is the trust between you and your client. Now, we want to build up trust, obviously, right? But there are a lot of ways that we can break the trust of our client that we don't really realize. So anytime we tell the client that we're going to do something, we need to stick to our word. And this isn't just talking about the final deliverables. This is everything along the way. So if you say you're going to have the proposal to them in end of day, but for some reason it's taking longer, you should update them. You should tell them that, hey, wasn't able to get it done today, but I'm sending it to you first thing tomorrow morning. This maintains trust, right? Whenever you say you're going to do something, you need to do it, right? A lot of people say under promise, over deliver, and most people fail at this. They try and promise everything, and then they under deliver, and that ruins the trust between you and your client. What we want to do is simply stick to our word. Deliver what we promise. That's it. We don't have to over deliver. We just have to stick to our word every single time. And that's the key point here, every single time. So when you say you're going to have the photos to them on Friday and it's Friday afternoon and you still have to do 10 more edits and there's no way they're going to get them on Friday, well, you tell them that they're coming on Monday. And you want to be transparent like this because it's going to maintain the trust between you and the client. And it's everything, not just these deliverables. It's every single client communication you have. Everything that you say you're going to do, you have to do it, or you have to communicate why you didn't get it done. Okay, now this one is probably the hardest one to actually implement, but if you can do this right, it's going to create a beautiful relationship between you and your clients long term. You want to create a strategic partnership, not just a relationship where you're delivering the creative. So what does this mean? Well, when you're on those initial discovery calls, still feeling out if this client is the right fit for you, or if you're the right fit for the client, you want to ask questions around their business, around their goals, because we're not just photographers. We are solving problems for our clients. We're providing solutions to their problems. And what problems do they have? Well, they're not selling enough widgets. Their marketing efforts aren't working. Their ads aren't converting. They have outdated photos on their website. Their Instagram followings aren't growing, right? There's so many problems that they have that are solved by our photography. And if we can speak in terms of what their goals are, that's going to make us a better partner long term. They're going to understand that we're not just a random photographer that can get replaced, right? They can go out and hire any photographer they want. But if you're a photographer that is a strategic partner to them, well, it's going to be harder to replace you, and you're going to be that much more valuable to them. They're going to want to continue working with you. So we don't want to just focus on deliverables. We want to focus on the results that we bring to our client. So you want to get very clear on what their business goals are. Ask them their business goals during those discovery calls. In the onboarding process, ask about their business goals, their goals about this relationship between you and the client. Ask them, like, what would a perfect relationship look like between you and the client? If the client had to rate this project, if they had to give you a 5 out of 5 on this project, what would this look like? Just ask them that, and they'll tell you what they want from you, and then you can deliver that to them. Now, a really great thing about being a strategic partner to a potential client is that you can provide them with a clear return on investment with you. So let's say you charge $2,000 per project with a client and they spend $2,000 on you. Well, if they can make that money back every single time, they're going to want to continue working with you. If you can show them how that $2,000 investment leads to more business for them, well, that's going to be a no-brainer for them because you're going to get paid, they're going to grow their business, and this relationship is just going to continue over time and grow because you're both winning here. You're not like trying to steal a client's money just for a few photos. You're actually providing real tangible value. And that's our job as photographers, as business owners, right? We want to help other business owners with our photography in a way that everyone wins. Now, if this isn't the case with you, well, there's an offer problem and a discrepancy between what you're charging and what you're providing. So if you need help with this, again, my free community has a bunch of trainings on how to actually increase your value and get paid what you're worth. And there's other videos on my YouTube channel. So look at those if you need help with the value creation stuff. But yeah, you want to become a strategic partner with your clients. You don't just want to become another photographer for them. Okay, I've got 2 more here that I want to discuss. And this first one is going to be the actual process that clients go through. Now, yes, we talked about the process. What we don't want to do is make the process too hard for the client. We want to reduce the effort that the client requires when they're working with us. So we don't want to have an onboarding form that's like 50 questions that requires them to think really hard about. We want a quick and easy onboarding form. We don't want to make them feel like they have to micromanage us because that's just going to lead to more pain for them, and they're going to feel like they're not getting their money's worth, and it's going to be a nightmare for you. You want to be the creative director of the shoot. You want to take the reins on the project as much as possible. You don't want the client to be really involved in it. Yes, you want to have certain guidelines of like what to follow, brand guidelines, all that stuff, but you want to be in control of the client project here because you want to make it as easy as possible for them to work with you. And if it's an easy working relationship for them, well, it's going to be way better long term, right? So a lot of the people I work with, they're brands, and I'm not working with like the owners of the brands. I'm usually working with the marketing director of that brand. So let's think about marketing directors. They're working for a company, it's their day job, and they don't want to have extra stress during their day job, right? So how can we reduce their stress? Well, we make it super easy for clients to work with us. And this comes in the client portal I was talking about. It comes with the streamlined process. It comes with very easy, like an approval process. It comes with providing all the creative direction for the shoot. You're doing a lot of work up front, but you're making it easier for the client. And if we can make it easier for the client, we can actually charge more for our service. So this is one of the secrets of actually charging more. The easier it is for clients to work with you, the more you can charge here. Now, I want to walk through this client portal I've been talking about a bunch and kind of show you what you should be building out for yourself. Now, if you don't want to build this out yourself, this is available inside of Creative Biz Launch, but let me quickly walk you through what I include in the client portal so that it'll make a lot more sense for you. And I'll show you how it's a lot easier for the client here. So I'm going to pull up my screen. So inside here is actually the entire Creative Biz dashboard. Let me go through the client portal here. Let me open this up for you guys. And okay, so let's go into Joe's Coffee here, an example project. So here is the client portal that clients get. So they get to see this entire screen here. So we've customized this to Joe's Coffee. This is actually a photo I took for Doppio Coffee Shop here in Chicago back in 2020, I believe. But let's start at the top here. So this is the status. So this is where they're at in the process, and they can see exactly where they're at. So whether the project hasn't started, whether they're pending the deposit and onboarding form, onboarding, shooting, all this stuff, they can see at a glance. So instead of having to email you asking where things are at, they simply go in here and see right off the bat. So there's a lot faster communication. Now down here are 6 different tabs. So we've got the onboarding form here, the mood board and shot list, the deliverables and contract, the review links for their first proofs, the final assets, and then the referral system, which I don't think there'll be enough time in this video to get into this. But like, for example, if you click into the onboarding form, they'll see like all the answers to their questions here, which is really convenient for them. For the mood board and shot list, they can just go in here and you'll upload their branding guidelines up here, but then there's going to be the mood board for the actual shoot here. You have the shot list, questions for your prep call here, deliverables and contracts. So they can click in here to see the contract. They can see what package they bought from you. So it's very convenient to actually send this to clients. It makes it that much easier for them to work with you. And that's all that we're doing here. We're making it super easy for the client to work with us so that they can become a retainer client. Now, let's not lose sight of what this video is all about. This video is all about getting clients as retainers. So let's actually break down the retainer process right now. So the last thing we're talking about, let's get retainers. Now, we do this by following a strategic sequence after the final deliverables are sent. So we've sent them the final photos. Great. How do we book a retainer deal? Now, most creatives are going to wait for the client to reach out to them for a retainer, but you're not like most creatives. So we're going to follow a specific sequence after the project is complete. So we've sent the deliverables. We're going to wait about a week or 2 after sending them and ask them for a testimonial. When we ask them for the testimonial, they're going to say they loved working with us. They loved our process. It was super easy to work with us. We were super fast, like all these great things because you're following what we teach inside of this channel and my free community. Now, the next step here is actually, once they send that testimonial, you want to ask them for a case study. So they sent that testimonial your way, and you're going to actually follow up with them and be like, hey, love that you had a really great experience on this project. I'm curious about the results that you got. So here you're going to ask specific questions about the results so that you can create a case study from this. Now they're going to tell you what results they got after working with you, the transformation, maybe some metrics. And from here, as long as the metrics are positive, you can actually pitch a retainer because they're going to see the clear ROI. They just told you the results they got. They told you that there's a clear ROI from working with you. And right here, you can actually pitch a retainer. And it's that easy. Like they just told you how much they enjoyed working with you and the results they got. So here you can actually open up the conversation to a retainer deal. So you're going to say like, hey, based on like what you've said in this case study, I can see that our photos helped generate you X amount of dollars, or they had this other transformation, whatever it is. Talk about that transformation and then pitch the retainer there. Ask them to hop on a call to discuss different options of working together long-term. Make the benefit to them very clear because they can get a positive return on investment by working with you over time. And they're either going to say yes or no here. If they say yes, great. Get on that call, negotiate the retainer agreement, and then go from there. If they say no, well, just keep them in your pipeline and follow up with them strategically. So you're going to want to check in with them every few months here, seeing how they're doing because they sent you that testimonial. You got that case study, so you know that you helped them. Now it's time to just check in every few months. Depending what their objection was, the frequency of check-ins may be different here, but you're going to be checking in with them and you're going to be doing this strategically. So if you're following a CRM like the one that we have for free in our builders group down below, that's going to make it a lot easier for those check-ins, but you want to have them in some sort of system so that you can follow up with them every few weeks or every few months as a kind of post-fulfillment flow. And maintaining these relationships is going to be really important for landing these long-term retainer clients. So we covered a lot in this video, but the main emphasis really was on customer experience. And if we can really have a fantastic customer experience, it's going to be way easier to land those retainers. Now, the post-fulfillment flow is something that a lot of people forget to do. So always be following up with clients, like follow-up never ends. Now to wrap things up, I really appreciate your time here. Thank you so much for watching. If you need any more help with this stuff, we've got those resources linked below. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.